Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to From Time Without Beginning, the worldwide energy healing radio network, a gathering of infinite beings from all over the planet and maybe even beings from off-planet who are tuning in, where every passing minute is your chance to turn it all around. What else is possible today for you and your universe? I'm Tim Janakis, your host, singer-songwriter, author, and energy healer. I'm a certified practitioner of the Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, and a student of many other healing modalities like the Body Code, Access Consciousness, Quantum Touch 2.0, Theta Healing, three-dimensional therapy, Lloyd Mears healing numbers, and others. So how did we get so lucky? Today is I think it's our 6th or 7th Access Consciousness show, and if you guys are familiar at all with Access Consciousness, you're probably familiar with the guest we have, certified facilitator we have on today. Her name is Blossom Benedict. She's all over the place. She, like myself, is a singer, and she's also an actress and a vocal coach and a longtime Access Consciousness facilitator. And she brought a revolutionary tool that Gary Douglas, the founder, helped institute, which is called The Right Voice for You, which she's been doing in 14 different countries. She's all over the world. I don't even know where she's calling in from today, but it's let me get her on and she'll maybe say more about herself and where she's calling from. So, Blossom, how are you doing?
Hey, Tim. I'm great. Fun to be here today. This is actually a very unusual event in my life. I am calling from home. I am in the States. I'm in Michigan today. So.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I saw 616 is Minnesota. That's
it's Michigan.
The last caller. Oh, Michigan.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Here for the summer.
So what time is it now in
It's Eastern time, so I'm same as you.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, I'm in Japan.
No way.
Yes, I'm in Japan.
I had no idea. That's so fun.
Yeah. So I've lived in Japan for the last 10 years, so it's actually 11:30 at night in Japan, so it's kind of
okay. Well,
Sunday night.
I'm so grateful that we get to create wherever we are in the world. It's so funny, whatever time zone I'm in, I'm doing radio shows and writing blogs and facilitating, and so.
And you're traveling all over the place.
Yeah.
And you're all over. Yeah. So tell us, you can go, I told a little bit about what you do, but you can kind of give us a background of like how you got into Access Consciousness and a little bit about whatever you want to talk about, actually. Go ahead and give yourself an introduction.
Yeah, I facilitate a lot of things. One of the things that I really love is Right Voice for You, which is just taking the tools of access sort of onto the stage and in front of other people. It's not so much for performers necessarily. It's really about how do you be yourself in front of others, how do you really show up as you, how do you stop judging yourself and create. So that's just been really fun for me since my background was in the arts, theater, music, and particularly I spent a lot of time judging that rather than just creating, wanting to create the right, good, perfect pieces. So it's just one area that I really latched onto. I saw people changing so fast, and I was like, I have to take this all over the world, and it's been really fun to play in. But in terms of how I got started, it's like everyone's adventure into this work I find is so different. And for me, I had a lot of really intense body things going on. I was really pretty sick on all sorts of medications, and doctors were really confused. So I was sort of just on my quest for changing or healing my body, and I tried everything Western I could think of, and then started going to meditation and juicing and yoga and those sorts of things. And it really was the Access questions that really started unraveling things for me. So I'm just super grateful for this work now. It's really permeated, my relationships and my finances and the way I create. And so I'm just grateful and excited to get these tools in people's hands for whatever they'll open up for them.
Wow. So I've been kind of using Access tools and processing for probably about a year and a half. And I'm also a performer, so I sing and write music and I write books. And every weekend in Japan I sing at weddings. So,
nice.
But in Japan everything's a little different than the U.S. So actually I get no time to interact with anyone at the wedding. I'm just kind of on stage and I sing and I bow at the end and everyone leaves, and I never get to shake a person's hand or say anything or who my name is or anything like that. So it's I've been learning with the Access tools the what do you call it, the energy pools.
The energy flows, yep.
That's my only way to interact with the whole. Like sometimes I have 100 people in the audience, but that's my only interaction I can do with them is energy pools, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is fun, and we think that so much of communication is verbal because that's what we're taught, but it's really so much of it is energetic anyway. You can receive so much from people by connecting to the audience, even before you get on stage. It's been one really fun tool to share with people, and they go, oh my gosh, I can either push my audience away from me or pull them to me and connect to them. So yeah, that's something I use a lot, not just on stage, but actually in interviews or conversations or to get my waiter's attention. It's really just how do you invite people into your space energetically.
So on the last 6 calls we had, I don't think anyone actually, we briefly talked, but no one really talked about the energy pools. Do you want to maybe start? Maybe you can give that tool to people, how to do
Yeah,
an energy
sure,
pool?
happy to. So the energy flows, basically there's just lots of different directions that energy can flow between different people. And particularly with speaking, with singing, with performance of any sort, or even in conversations, we're sort of taught if you want to make your point, we usually push energy at people, which means that the energy comes from us to the other person, and we're trying to make our point, get them to see what we're saying, push enough energy at them that maybe they wake up and they're alert. And it just really doesn't work. So what we teach, there's lots of different, it works for different things. It works maybe if you're trying to push somebody away, it works very well. So it just depends on what you're trying to create. But the energy, so pulling energy is something that I teach a lot in Right Voice for You workshops, and it's actually pretty simple. Everyone always asks, well, how do you do this? How do you do it? Like, do you visualize something? And it's pretty simple. You're actually just pulling energy from the universe through the person you're talking to and to you. And then when you have a connection with them, you're just trickling a little bit of energy back out to them so that you're connected. But what pulling energy does, first of all, it sort of invigorates somebody because you're pulling energy through them. Now they have more energy. But you're also pulling them to you, which makes them lean forward and reach for you. So rather than trying to prove your point and pushing at them, you're inviting them to you. And then the third thing that I find really surprises people once they start playing with this, especially when you're speaking, is if you're pulling energy from somebody rather than pushing it at them, you also start to get information about what they're wondering, where they're at, how they're doing, what they're required to hear. So rather than you being the source of a speech or a conversation even, and having to come up with the information yourself, now you're actually receiving information from the other person. So pushing energy is one direction, pulling energy is another direction, very useful for conversations on the stage. And then flowing energy is just another thing that we have available to us. And that is going in the direction from you to another person, really from the universe through you into another person. But there we're just filling somebody up with energy, flowing it to them. That's really useful for government workers, people who are really just tired or depleted. We're just going whoosh, like here's energy to contribute to you. So those are the three flows, and it really isn't a how. It's really just if you play with it, if you just start noticing, am I pushing energy? Am I pulling energy? Try telling a story and push energy. Tell the same story and pull energy. It happens to just be an ability that we all have, and it can be really fun to play with.
Well, yeah, I've had fun with it. We have a few callers. You want to start with a caller right away, or do you want to talk about other things before we do that?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. I teach a lot of just following the energy and going with the flow, and I find we always create the most magic when we do that. So why don't we see what questions we have? Good,
because we have one caller who actually last call we had on Thursday was an access call, and she called in and then she dropped off, so I didn't get to take her. So this is Mia. Mia, how are you doing?
Hi, Tim. I'm good. How are you?
Good. What would you like to ask Blossom?
Well, I have this stuck energy on my right shoulder. It just doesn't seem to shift or move easily. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. So with body things, so is it intense? Like, does it show up as something you would call pain, or what is it?
It's not too painful. It's more of annoying, uncomfortable type of feeling that it's there.
Yep. So the first thing I always ask is just, what are you aware of? So usually sensations that show up in our body are there to give us an awareness of something. So what is your body showing you or telling you with this energy that you have been unwilling to be aware of?
Something, I get a sense from the past, but I cannot get a hold of it. I don't know what it is that I have to deal with.
So can I ask, is it a being hanging out?
No, it's more within. So it's not anything outside. It's something within me.
Okay. So beings can hang out within you.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that's what it is. So I just want you to check in, like, what's lighter if you say, okay, so is this a being or is this something else?
Is that, do I ask myself now?
Yeah. So is this a being or is this something else?
Is this a being or is this something else? And what's the difference?
Well, we don't have to figure it out. So the tool that I love the most in Access is just the truth. Whatever's true for you is light. So you're not looking for what makes sense. You're looking for what creates a lightness in your being. And if neither of them do, then we're just in the wrong area and we ask something else. So there's never a right answer. There's just what creates the most lightness for you. So is this a being, an awareness, or something else?
Is this a being? Is something else?
Okay. So is it yours?
Is it mine? My body is tilting forward.
Okay.
I'm standing.
Okay. So when I ask you, is this yours, does that lighten up your space at all?
No.
Okay. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what things are. Access is really, really different than a lot of modalities because we ask questions for what that creates in the universe. The question literally like rearranges things and starts to give you different information. We don't ask questions to get answers. So it's very different than like a psychic or a lot of modalities where you need the information to move on. So I would just start asking my body a lot of questions. Like, hey, body, are you trying to tell me anything? Do you require anything from me? Is there anything I can contribute to you? And again, I'm looking for anything that lightens up my space is what's true for me. So if I go, is this something I need to be aware of, or what is this? What do I do with this? Can I change this? If so, how do I change this? Like, I just stay in all of those questions until something either feels light or I get an awareness of what's required. So it may shift and change just by asking questions without you ever knowing what that energy was exactly.
So I just keep on asking this question until it shifts.
Well, or until you get the awareness of maybe something that you need to do for it to shift. Sometimes I also ask, hey, is anything required here? Sometimes I'll have something in my body and I'll get, oh, it's just change. How much change have you been asking for in your life? A little or a lot?
Oh, okay.
So that seemed to have created some lightness when you went, oh, okay. So sometimes I ask for change, and then it shows up, and, my arm feels funny or my hip feels stuck. And one of the things we go to right away is, oh, no, like there's a problem, instead of just going, what is this? So one of the things sometimes is it's just change. And then I go, okay, how does it get better than that? What would it take for this change to be as easy as possible? We ask and ask and ask for things to shift and change, and then when they finally do, we go, what's wrong?
Yeah, because we're used to asking ourselves, what is wrong with us?
Exactly. So what's right about this? And I just keep asking, hey, body, what is this? Is this change? Is this awareness? Do you require anything? Do you want to go on a walk? Do you need to eat something? Should I ask a different question? Because it may not be a problem. It may just be something shifting in your body.
Right. Yes, that seems to be the answer. There's some change going on.
And then how does it get better than that? So, yeah, keep asking. And if it gets more intense, then maybe we need to get to some other questions at some point and try to shift it. But there may be nothing to fix right now. So, thanks for calling in.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. So stay on the line, listen in. We're going to go to another caller, but every time, if we're going to do some processing, hopefully we're going to do some processing in a little while. If everyone listening in, if you can just say yes after she asks a question when we do processing, because it'll clear a lot of stuff for everybody when we do some processing. So stay on the line and just say yes when we ask questions. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. I forgot to say, we did a lot of processing on our last few calls, and I forgot to say sometimes at the beginning of the call everyone can say yes, whether they're the one calling in or not, and it can clear stuff for them too.
Yeah, and I'm happy to run clearings. And the idea in an access clearing is you're just saying yes if you're willing to give up whatever this thing is that you've concluded or decided. Then we just use the access clearing statement to sort of change the energy of it. And in this case, the clearing that would come up if we were going to clear something, I'd say, what have you made so vital about looking for answers that keeps you from the awareness of you? And everything that is. So we've made answers really vital. And it actually cuts off our awareness of what is possible with the question. So everywhere that you have been looking for answers to your questions, looking for answers to your problems, looking for answers to anything that you don't yet have right, good, perfect, or correct, well, you destroy and create all that.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POT, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And would you be willing to allow the question to actually create the magic for you.
Yeah.
And everything that doesn't allow that, times a gazillion, we destroy and uncreate it all.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. And listeners, people may start feeling some energies just shift and change. That's sort of the point of the clearing statement, is just to let go of some of this junk that we've been holding on to that isn't allowing whatever to show up you've been asking for.
Yeah, and sometimes I would, at first, when I first heard the clearing statement, I got kind of confused because actually we ask Access, we do a lot of questions, and actually the statement is not even a statement, it's a bunch of questions, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's asking, will you give something up? And then it's basically saying, okay, so we're giving up everything you made right about it and wrong about it and good about it and bad about it. And from the moment you created it, will you destroy it now? Yeah. So the whole thing is a question. We can't take anything away from you that you aren't willing to give up. So, yeah.
I really like that. It's kind of changed my whole thinking about everything, because all my life I've been looking for the answers for everything and trying to figure everything out. And once I learned from Access, you don't need to. And actually that usually just gets you stuck in an endless loop of crap. It doesn't really help you figure out anything. Just question. It opens up so much. We had a caller from India, but she dropped off, so I hope she calls back in. I don't know what happened there. So I could be I'm sure there'll be more callers. Sometimes they wait a little while, they listen in. So let me just give the number, because we have lots of people listening in that aren't actually calling in. So if anyone's listening in, if you can call, if you're outside of the U.S., which a lot of people are, dial 1-646-929-2015, and Blossom Benedict will be happy to answer questions and to ask you questions to open up a lot of consciousness and all the knowing that you have inside you, and clear a lot of energy.
And Tim, while you're talking about answers, I mean, this is one of the topics that I think changed my life the most profoundly, was getting to questions, because I was such a good student, and I think this reality trains us really terribly. It teaches us to look for answers absolutely everywhere. And what I found is I was doing that everywhere in my life then, including, I've always loved to write. I've always been a creator. But even when I was creating, I was trying to do it right or looking for answers. So before I'd write a story, I'd want to know, well, what's the story? What's the point of the book? And this month I've actually challenged myself. I made a little 30-day challenge for myself to create, just to write something every day. And it's been so amazing to me. I sit down and I ask a question and I just begin, and the pieces end up just showing up. And they don't look at all like I thought they would look. But it's really been trusting myself and trusting the universe. And I realized when I was trying to answer before I created, I was eliminating so much magic, because it's not possible to answer a question that hasn't been asked. So that's just one of the really tangible ways it's shown up in my life in the last week, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, like where else in my life have I come to conclusion, come to an answer, and am completely eliminating everything the universe would like to gift or contribute to me? So everywhere that you are looking for an answer in your career, the right thing to be, the right thing to do, the right next move, the right next product to launch, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And the questions then become like, well, what would be fun for me? And what can I create today? And what adventure can I have today? And what else is possible here? And truly just the willingness to jump in and see what shows up. I'm always struck by how what the universe had in mind is so much grander than whatever my answers were to begin with.
Yeah. We had the India caller drop. Well, maybe something's wrong with the switchboard today, maybe, because the person from India called in twice, raised the hand, and dropped off, and now we just had someone in the 716 area code, and they just raised their hand and then it dropped off. So I hope there's not something wrong with the switchboard.
Huh.
I don't know. Sometimes technology, it's kind of funky. But
Yeah.
I hope if you just called in, please call back, and we're going to try to take you right away when you call back in. Maybe I can be the next person because I just got a speeding ticket yesterday, and this is my third one in Japan. And when I lived in the U.S., I had about probably 50 speeding tickets in my whole life.
Oh, wow. So it's
I don't
not
know what
something
it is.
unusual.
I can't slow down. I need to do some processing around this idea why I can't slow down. What am I such in a hurry for all the time? I don't know why.
Yeah.
So,
well, I want to ask you another question. What do you love about speeding tickets?
Yeah, really, huh? What do I love about speeding tickets?
Because I have to say, I never drive the speed limit. I drive very, very fast, and I actually don't get speeding tickets.
Wow.
So what do you love about getting speeding tickets?
Wow, that's a good question. What do I love?
So do they prove to you that you should slow down and that you're going too fast?
Maybe. Let me ask myself, do they? Yes, no. That's funny, I get lighter on no. So
okay, so what is it? So what do you love about speeding tickets? Anywhere that you have made going fast a wrongness or something to fix or change, will you just try and create that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now I'm not saying you should, but it should be an option. It should be a choice to either go fast or to go slow. But if I just wanted to point out that you came into this question with the conclusion that you go too fast and that going fast is wrong or bad somehow.
Which is definitely a conclusion.
So how much has this whole reality, universe, lifetime been telling you to slow down?
Oh, my God. Everywhere. Everyone tells you to slow down. Not even speeding, just my life.
Yeah. So everywhere you've aligned and agreed with that and made that true or real or valuable, will you just try and uncreate that so that you can get the awareness for you of the speed that works for you?
Yes, absolutely.
Everything that doesn't allow that, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. Wow. So what do you love about speeding tickets?
I don't feel I love anything about it. I hate them.
Well, are they your way of punishing yourself for going too fast? Are they?
Yeah, that gets a strong yes. So I have a feeling I'm going too fast and I can't slow down and I need to punish myself. That's the only way I slow down.
Okay. So if you're using these tickets as a punishment to prove that you are doing something wrong, will you just try and create that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. So when I'm driving, I ask, hey, car, universe, just give me an awareness of where the cops are or how I need to drive. So there are often times where all of a sudden, for no reason, I will slow down and then there will be a cop. And then another tool that I use that I really love in this area is just making yourself infinite. So there have also been times when I've sped past a cop and been like, oh, shit, and just expand out, expand out, expand out, expand out. Sometimes it's possible to be so much space that the cop actually doesn't perceive you. And then the third thing I've done, there is one time recently that a cop started to pull me over, and I was this energy of, this is not happening, like this complete demand. The cop pulled over behind me, turned his lights on, and then turned his lights off and drove over to the center of the road and got out of his car. He was like, I don't even think he knew what had hit him, and I was shocked. I had no idea what had just happened, but I took my hands off the steering wheel, and I just like threw a lightning bolt of like, this is stopping. I am not getting a ticket right now. I had somewhere to be. So there are different energies that are available to you, but your point of view is always going to create your reality. So if you have the point of view that you drive too fast and you always get speeding tickets, then you're going to create that over and over and over.
Yeah. So let me delete destroy and uncreate all of that.
Yeah. So everywhere you've decided, judged, and concluded that you always get speeding tickets, we destroy and uncreate all that.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I don't even know how you can have your license with 50 speeding tickets. That's impressive.
Well, no, in the U.S. I got 2 motorcycles impounded. I got 3 cars impounded. I drove for a while without a license. I got, I was really bad in the U.S. But then I came to Japan, and then every year so far, summer, I've got one. This is this year, and I got one last year, and I got one year before on summertime. Doing my all Japan music tour.
There's still something else there on this topic. It's very funny, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's like, is that your annual punishment or your dues for enjoying your life, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't know. I'm throwing out I don't know.
Right,
that's one of the
true. All right,
tools.
so whatever that
know.
is, whatever this lovely summer ritual of getting a speeding ticket means to you, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pun and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. Cool.
Maybe one key to it is my wife didn't get as angry at me this time, which was kind of, she did get angry, but she didn't get as angry as she usually gets.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm trying to prove to myself something about her. If I get a ticket, whether she'll get angry or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
so,
I know. Deep down, I know something.
So how much, it's interesting you bring that up, though. How much, so here's a weird question. If she didn't react at all, would you still require to get speeding tickets?
My body's saying no.
Yep. So everywhere that you're getting speeding tickets to test or prove something about her love for you or your relationship or your freedom or something, will you just try and create all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Do you get anything else with that?
I'm just trying to think, because now these last 3 tickets were with when I was married, but all the tickets in the U.S. was when I was single. So who was I trying to get the same proof from?
So what are you proving by the speeding tickets you are choosing? That you can't be controlled, that you're not controllable, that...
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I always felt like it's always
Go
control.
ahead.
The speed was always a control issue for me. I didn't like.
Yeah.
Especially in Japan, because it's so extremely slow.
Yeah. So everywhere you are refusing to be controlled, therefore being controlled by your refusal to be controlled, will you destroy and create all that?
Yes. Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So in Access we do talk about, like, would you be willing to be out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearities, out of concentricities? Basically, would you be willing to give up your reference points and really follow the energy in life?
Yeah.
But that is very different than resisting control. So if somebody has a rule and they say, like, don't eat this cookie, and then you're like, well, now I have to eat this cookie. They are completely controlling you by having that rule, because your choice is now in reaction to it. Them having no control would be you making a choice not in resistance or reaction to it, but just based on what works for you. So are you speeding in reaction to the speed limit, or are you just driving the speed that is fun for you?
I guess there's a reaction there. I'm feeling.
Yeah. So everywhere that the choice of your speed is in reaction to the rules and regulations that are being imposed on you, therefore controlling you, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And we all do this. It's so funny how we do this. They're like, don't push this red button. And you're like, I must push this red button. You can't control me. But now they are controlling you. They've just gotten you to care about this red button you wouldn't otherwise care about.
Yes. Oh, my God. That just released a lot.
Oh. Awesome. And my guess is it did for other people too, whether it's on the topic of speeding or anything else. It's like all these things I grew up thinking that I was choosing by reacting to things. I thought, oh, I'm not going to go to that college you want. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to move to that city you want. I'm going to move to the other city. I'm not going to get married. I'm going to stay single. But that meant that the other person's opinion that I was reacting to was determining my life rather than just going, oh, well, interesting point of view that you think I should move there. Where would I like to move? It might be the same place you wanted me to move. It's like all of us, how much are we controlling our lives by resisting to things people put out there rather than just asking, well, what will work for me? What would I like in my life? What would truly be fun for me? So one last layer of everywhere that your choices are being made in reaction to other people's rules, laws, thoughts, feelings, emotions, opinions, or anything else, therefore having nothing to do with who you are or what you would like, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Wow, that was a big one because that just brought up, I used to be a lot cleaner, but my wife is a total clean freak, and it's turned me into a total slob.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm just going to change one tiny thing. So you said, it's turned me.
I've turned myself. Okay.
Yeah, I have created, or I have turned myself. I have chosen. I have reacted to that by becoming a slob.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you just said to yourself over and over and over and over and over, like, okay, interesting point of view, she has that point of view, the towel should be folded. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view, the towels belong on the floor. Interesting point of view, I have the point of view, I don't have to do the dishes. Interesting point of view, she has that point of view, the dishes have to be clean. Interesting, like to everything, if you could get no charge on this topic, you might get the awareness of how you would actually like to interact with dishes or clothes, or you might get the awareness, oh my gosh, this topic is so silly, I don't actually have a point of view, and I get laid a lot more if I wash my dishes. That's actually not that hard. Right? It's like then all of a sudden you're just making your choices based on what's going to create ease or joy in your life rather than reacting to something that was thrown in front of you.
Yeah.
So all of the reaction all of us are doing, making us choiceless, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I had a relationship. I look back on my relationships, and it's so funny because the very first ones, I like completely gave myself away, and I called every day, and I did everything he wanted. And then time I get to college, I was like the opposite. I was like, I don't have to call you. I'm not going to tell you where I am. I'm an independent woman. And so that was just a reaction to the first thing. And it took me a lot of years of doing this work and playing with consciousness to realize, oh my gosh, if somebody would like a phone call, I can look at how much easier will my life be if I choose that. I'm not choosing against me. It's easy to make a phone call. It costs me nothing. I call, I be whatever energy they require, and then I hang up and I keep creating my life. It's like it took me so long to get to not aligning and not resisting, but just looking at, if I make this choice, what will it create in my life? And choosing from that. And I'll tell you, if you get free of that need to do it based on aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting, things get so freaking easy.
Yes, I need to make it easy. That's what I'm going to do. Okay.
Yeah. So if I choose this, what will my life be like in the next 5 years, 5 minutes, 5 days? And everything that doesn't allow you to actually have choice to choose for ease and joy rather than for being right, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and yawns. Huh.
So for some reason, I don't know what it is. So maybe I'm thinking because there's been 4 callers now that came on, dropped off. Now there's been 2 from India, 1 from 716. But for some reason, Mia is the only one who hasn't dropped off. So maybe there's another issue Mia needs to work on. What do you think?
Mia, do you have anything else to say to us today?
Let's get
You're the magic
Mia
caller.
Let's get Mia back on because we've had so many people drop in and drop off. So Mia, give us something else Blossom can do for you. I'm going to put myself on mute.
All right.
Hi. Well, we talked about change previously, and there's been a lot of change. Tim knows I moved from Chicago to Florida, one change. And right now I'm having family issues. It just seems like my sister, and I only have one sister, doesn't understand that I like my freedom here in Florida. I don't want to report to her everything that I do here. She has the need to know, every day, what I do here, and it's her business. So I just don't want to call her and tell her anything anymore because she doesn't need to know what I eat, where I'm at, how much I spend on gas.
Yep. So one of my favorite questions when I find myself in situations like that or like anything that I dislike is I go, okay, so how did I create this? So how much have you, whatever that is, whether you have indulged her by doing this in the past or whether you've allowed her to feel powerful or whatever that is, everywhere that you have been a participant in creating this, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So how old are you?
41.
Okay. Yeah. So one of my favorite lines to give people is really just, I'm sorry, this doesn't work for me. So you must be allowing her to control you if at 41 she feels that she's able to do that in some way. My brother always goes, why doesn't our mom nag you, or why doesn't grandma give you a hard time about what you're doing? And I'm like, well, I actually don't give them a choice to treat me that way. So what could you be or do different with your sister that would create whatever it is you require in your life?
I don't know.
So could you call her less?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. But it annoys her that she has no clue. I have no Facebook. I have no social media account whatsoever, and I call her less. So she's just somehow feeling mad about the situation.
Yeah. So one tool you could try and to see if it creates anything is the thing we talked about at the very beginning of the call, which is just to flow her lots of energy. I actually do this with my dog when I travel. I'll get that he's getting funny or missing me or wondering what's going on, and I'll just flow him lots of energy. And my dog sitter's he'll start running around the house. He'll be looking for you. So we actually, sometimes, if your sister's wondering what's going on, sometimes just flowing her energy, which is just I'm fine, I care about you, I'm so grateful you're on the planet, I'm totally fine. will really create an amazing result. And I also use manipulation a lot in my life, which is a word that gets a terrible reputation because most people manipulate to do something bad to somebody else. But manipulation is really just like skillfully or artfully managing a situation. So you might also want to ask yourself, what could you say to her that would actually make her feel great about giving you more space? And some examples of that might be even something like, I am so grateful to have a sister like you. I know that all of the independence that I have is because of you. Something that would really just like surprise her and require her to give you more space. Not from demanding it, but actually from just flipping the energy of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just anything that allows, we are not controllable, we allow people to control us. So everything that makes you think that she can control you, will you just destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. And gratitude is an amazing energy. It may flip it if she's really upset that you didn't call, and you just go, how did I get so lucky to have a sister that cares so much about where I am? Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Something annoying to play with.
Yeah.
And then you still call her when you want. You're right. Family is the most important thing. I'm so grateful for you keeping our family together. And then you still call her when you want or when it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So back to what we were talking about with Tim, just again, anywhere that you are choosing to call her or not call her out of resistance and reaction to her instead of out of choice, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Is that any lighter?
Yeah, it feels lighter. That energy that I was talking to you earlier actually left.
How does it get better than that?
Which is funny because I actually felt it was your sister. You said it was your sister or your aunt who wants you to call?
No, my sister, but she acts like an aunt.
Oh, okay, that's what you said. Okay. Because I felt she was holding onto your shoulder.
Oh, wow.
We call it courting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt.
Yeah. Cool, and that's what's so funny about this work to me is if we had kept going, oh, what is this with your shoulder earlier, we may never have gotten to this energy. Whereas when you go, okay, let's sit with this question, and then you come around out of right field, and the energy shifts. So that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Okay. Oh, whoops! I just cut her off accidentally. I put her on. I pushed the mute, and it takes a little while to go off, and then it goes off always when they start talking again. We had, I don't know what's up with this. So the person who's in the 716, they called now 3 times. If you call in, don't push 1 because I'll know you want to raise your hand because I guess there's something wrong with the switchboard. Whoever keeps pushing 1 to raise their hand, it like cuts them off. I don't know why that is, but there's something wrong with the switchboard right now. And I just work here, so I don't know how that works.
We're frying the lines.
Yeah, that's what happens with Access a lot of times.
It does. When we first started doing telecalls, we could not get a clear line to save our lives. We had hosts all the time being like, the craziest things happen whenever we do shows with you, but we'd fry lines, callers would get dropped, we'd get muted. Seems over the last couple years, I don't know if the technologies have gotten better or we're just, facilitators are getting better at being spaced, or I'm not sure what's happening, but it seems to happen less frequently, but it's very funny.
Yeah. So we're gonna end earlier than I thought, but we've been going. Wow, it's almost been an hour, so it's almost 12:30 in Japan. It's late for me. But before we go, maybe if you want to say something about your schedule, if you have something going on that people could find out more about what you're doing, where you have classes, or please, you can make an announcement.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways if you'd like to just play more, connect more. The first thing is just my website, blossombenedict.com. I send a lot of blogs out, writings out, tools out via video. So just love to connect with you if you're interested in more of this work, or more specifically sort of how I use it in my life to create change. I tell a lot of stories. So you can sign up there. And then I also have something I'm really excited about. I mentioned briefly that I've been writing every day, and amazing things have been showing up. And I'm starting a 30-day creation intensive on July 20th, and it's going to be a 30-day challenge to just create every day. It's sort of like a mastermind. There'll be a Facebook group. I'm going to pair people up so they can send each other creations. I'll do a weekly call, just sort of clearing everything that comes up for you about creating, what's getting in your way. And then people will just start sharing their things. My hope is we're just going to have a big summer burst of creation. So that's at blossombenedict.com/creation. You can find out all about that. And then I also do have some Right Voice for You classes. I have one in Istanbul, of all places, that's going to be in November, and one in Chicago in October 4th and 5th. So you can see my whole schedule at, actually the easiest way to get there is joyofbeingalive.com. That'll take you to my profile on the Access Consciousness site, joyofbeingalive.com. And you can see sort of what I have going on. But mostly I just love to connect.
Well, the funny thing is Mia's in Chicago.
Is she? Oh,
yeah.
Well, Florida, right? She moved from Chicago. She'll have to come back.
She's from Chicago. That's right. Okay.
To her hometown, and she can come play at Right Voice. Exactly. So, yeah, I'm always creating new things, so really the best thing to do is just connect Facebook or through my site, and we can play from there.
That's incredible. Good. I'm so glad you helped. It freed up a lot of energy. The people who were listening in, there's always about 10 or 20 people listening in when I look at the stats on the website if they don't call in. And I'm sorry for those other 3 people that called in and got hung up on. That was weird. I never had that situation. But the good thing is every clearing we did for the people listening in, you can go back and listen in the archives. And even if it's not directly, you think it's related to your issue, the questions we asked and the clearings we did, it'll clear a lot of other stuff for other issues. So if you just think yes or just say yes when you hear the clearing again, it'll bring up more stuff. So that's the great thing. These clearings can be done, the same one over and over and over sometimes, and it just will clear more and more stuff on you.
Absolutely.
Do you want to, actually, we've had no one ever talk about the nighttime sleep things, so maybe before we go, maybe you can say something about that, because you guys do like these long repetitive clearing things that you record and then listen to them while you sleep, and how it clears stuff.
Yeah, really the idea is just that clearings bypass your logical mind, so the things that you can't figure out, it keeps changing the energy. So you might run something simple like, what have I made vital about, or what creation am I using to create the control I am choosing? What creation am I using to create the tickets I am choosing? What creation am I using to create the messes I am choosing? Like, there's some very simple ways to create clearing statements, and everything that is destroy and uncreate it all, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POT, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. So when I come up with a clearing that really hits home for me, there have been, a couple dozen over the years where I go, oh my gosh, that's so my issue. I can't even hear what you're saying. It's so my issue. And then I'll put that on a loop, which just means I'll record myself saying it, and then just put it on repeat track in iTunes. You can turn it down really low while you're sleeping. Some people also record a bunch of clearings in a row and then put that on repeat. But it is a really great way to start shifting things. If you don't want to do it while you're sleeping at night, another thing I do when I find just a clearing that really, really speaks to me is I'll just say it, 30 times a day, 3 times a day, or 30 times in a row, 3 times a day, or sometimes just continuously whenever I think about it for a day. Usually when I can't remember it anymore is sort of when it's gone, when the energy has changed. So basically there is no energy that we cannot change, but sometimes there's a pretty deep pattern of it. So yeah, clearing loops at night, it certainly takes away some of the work and some of the things you have to remember, so it's a great way to do it.
And I've heard from other access facilitators that actually people listening to the clearing loops, even if they don't speak that language, it helps clear for them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, the language thing is interesting because, I've gone to a bunch of bilingual classes. One of my last classes in Copenhagen was just translated into 7 languages. And some people I know really enjoy listening to a whole class in a different language than they speak. Because, again, what we're doing is we're bypassing your cognitive mind. We're trying to get past what you know to all of the insane reasons why you're doing what you're doing and all of the energetic reasons from, say, other lifetimes or whatever. So I think it can be really great to listen to clearings in other languages. The point is that every word has an energy to it. So it's not the actual words in the particular language that is the problem. It's what those words mean that is the thing you've been doing. So yeah, I know it sounds a little bit strange, but clearings can absolutely work in languages you don't understand if it is something that you're willing to shift and change. We've all, I believe we're infinite beings and that we've all been and done pretty much everything over the last 4 trillion years. So if that were the case, you've also heard and spoken all of these languages and would certainly have all sorts of things that you could shift and change in each of them.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's been really great call. Thank you so much, Blossom, for taking your time. And maybe in the future we'll get you on again. I look forward to hearing all the great things you're going, so I'm going to keep in touch with you on Facebook. And I invite everyone to go to her website or add her on as friends on Facebook and follow her. It's going to be a great journey for all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim, for having me, and you have a good sleep.
You too. Okay, so I'm going to put you on mute, and I'm going to end with the little announcements. Thank you so much.
Great.
Bye-bye. Okay, thanks, everyone, for listening in again. This was our, I think, 7th, probably, Access call. We have one other one coming up in the near future. I can't remember the date, but look in the postings on the website. We also have, I'm doing a solo call on next Wednesday morning for the people who called in from the U.S. The same time the call was in the afternoon or night. Actually, no, it's your morning, so it'll be nighttime. It's my morning. My time's switching in my head. It's late. So actually, if you called in on Sunday or listened in on Sunday morning, then that would be the same time but in the evening on Wednesday for you in the U.S. So, for example, California would be 7 p.m. at night, and in New York, East Coast, it would be 10 p.m. at night, 10:30 p.m. at night. And for me in Japan, it's 11:30 at night now. When the call started, now it's 12:30, so it'll be 11:30 in the morning on Thursday because we're a day ahead. So that'll be my solo call. And I'm going to end with a song. Actually, I started with I Am Love, so I'm going to end with I Am Love because I just played a little bit of it. So this is my song from my new CD, The Beginning Is Here. And I'm still doing the free thing if you purchase my CD and do a review, or one of my books, or one of my CDs. Any one of them that you do a review on iTunes or Amazon or or CD Baby or Lulu or any of the sites that I have it on. If you do a review, after purchasing it, you give me a link to the review. I'll do a free 30-minute healing session on you. So thanks a lot, everybody, and talk to you guys next Wednesday. Bye-bye. Here it goes, I Am Love. am a girl. I am here to change the world. I am your husband. I am your wife. I am love. I am light. 闇が手招いて手繰り寄せても血がさまよいながら